Welcome to the Timely Drops of Wisdom podcast. I'm your host, Jessica Carmon, founder of Resourced Apothecary, where we are asking you to rethink how you refill your cup. Resourced Apothecary offers sustainable practices and products to help you deepen your connection to yourself, your community, and to Mother Nature. Here in this podcast, I'm sharing the plant spirit medicine I receive from the plants and the land. The plants share their wisdom through messages and actual medicines. We'll discuss both in detail. In addition, I provide sound healing and guided meditation to help you connect in with the plants in your unique way. And I offer suggestions for integrating all of this into your life with rituals and practices that are both manageable and powerful. I'm thankful you're here. Let's get into today's topic. Today, I have a very special guest with me. We're going to do our best to really hone in on the way that we both have worked with Marigold, and then we'll pepper a lot of fun stuff in there. I have mentioned her many times, and I'm very excited to introduce you, dear listener, to my friend, Sheri Bagwell. So thank you, Sheri, for joining me today.
Thank you so much for having me. It's super fun. I always love our conversations. And I love your products.
Thank you. Well, so for people who don't know, we have been having wonderful conversations, both recorded and otherwise, for at least a year. But I feel like it's been even longer than that we've been doing this. And it's always so fun to see what comes up. So this will be the first interview style podcast episode on the Timely Drops of Wisdom, and I cannot think of a better person to chat with to start that out than you.
Oh, thank you.
So I have mentioned you and your meditations before, but will you tell us a little more about yourself and how you do your work in the world?
Yeah, sure. I call myself a therapist and energy healer. So my classes are a little bit different than my private sessions. In group classes, we're working with the current energies and how to work with them. Sometimes we get some astrological influences, but often as well, we're working with the earth and our bodies. And we're joining body, mind, and spirit in classes. We're releasing old thoughts and ideas and grounding in new energy. And it's usually just whatever you need. It seems like when I get a group together every time, they all kind of need similar things. So that works out. And those are usually fun. And then my private sessions are a little bit therapy and a little bit just breath and energy and somatic release. And it's about awareness and preparing you to take different action that serves you greater. And most recently, I have brought in brain spotting, which is a therapy technique that gets you deeper into the mind than what I've been able to get to accessing through the body, because up until now, most of my work has come through the body first. So I do a lot of good, fun, interesting stuff that get us all closer to our true self.
Yes. Oh, very good. I couldn't have done that justice the way you did. But I will say, as someone who tries very hard not to miss a Monday meditation, that they are always incredibly impactful and is just my favorite way to start my week on the right foot and really tuned in. So personal testimony that it is awesome. So this whole month and next month, I'm devoting to my love of Marigold. And I know that you were one of the first people that I shared with when I was able to start working with Marigold and receiving that message and that wisdom. And it's been really fun to be able to share with you this whole time and to get your feedback. And I was wondering if you would tell us how Marigold's message and medicine have resonated with you.
Well, I remember when you first introduced me to Marigold Essence, I actually was struggling a little bit to talk about what I do because it is a little bit different. And also I know doing the same things don't work. So I was having a hard time talking about what was different and reassuring people that it was still safe and so on. And as soon as I started taking the Marigold, when you said that it helps you find your voice and feel good, like taking up the space that you were always meant to take up, it did seem like I got a lot clearer with my messaging and was less reserved in talking about it.
That's cool. I didn't even put that together, but as I think back, I'm like, oh, that timeline. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense because it's been really, really fun to get to experience how you discuss what you do, right? Like I've been knowing what you do for a long time because I've experienced it, but just like you said, like it's very difficult to know where to begin to start discussing the things that don't fit in any boxes that we know of yet, right? Like this is new and this is different. Come with me on this journey. So that was the Marigold flower essence. And I'm wondering, is that your favorite Marigold product?
Well, no, my favorite Marigold product is the blend with Marigold and Tulsi.
Oh, the hydrosol. Okay. Tell me more.
So I have a habit of doing things very quickly. And, I get an idea and I want to run with it. And so I love the fiery divine feminine in Marigold for sure. And I really enjoy tapping into the fire of that. But the Tulsi, when you describe that as slow, divine, masculine wisdom, it tempers the fire and it just brings some peace. Some like, it's okay to go slow. We don't have to be frantic, that kind of thing. And I find that when we bring that in, we're making better decisions. We're a little more tapped into our intuition than when we just have all the fire.
Wow. So I love the way you explain things. And it's so funny because having that reflected back is so big. And I don't know if you've been feeling it lately, but I just feel like there's a very frenetic energy these past couple of weeks. And it could just be like my personal trajectory lately, but like it just, that's the word that keeps coming up is like frenetic. I was just telling somebody recently, I've been so productive this week, but I'm being productive in areas that are stressful. So it's like I get more of that. And when you were talking, I was just like, oh, this is that chance that I talk about with the hydrosol as almost like a retraining, like, okay, let's let all this energy kind of sink into the body and keep flowing instead of, getting in one spot and looping. And I'm realizing like, oh, there again, once again, right? Like I need to go take my own medicine. So one of the things that I love about what you do very specifically is the way that you help us get back into our bodies and land these big energies that we're feeling and all of the kind of swirling thoughts, emotions, feelings, all of that, land that in our bodies and help us really get in there. I talk about freely that I end up in my head too much, and I just get a lot out of working with you and being able to really get back into me. And I feel like there's an interesting connection to explore there with Marigold's wisdom.
Tell me more.
Well, it's funny because there's so many different ways to address how I'm coming to this. And one of them is, I really feel like Marigold is coming in at that sacral chakra level. And so physically, we're looking at the hips and the pelvic area, and that particular area seems to be, especially with all of us like sitting more these days, like we're at home, we're sitting, or we're sitting at a computer, or we're just being still, and that area seems to really gather stagnant energy lately.
Whew, it does.
And so knowing that, Marigold is coming in and mixing it up and heating it up and helping energy to move in the sacral chakra, I feel like for me personally, that really helps to bring my awareness into my sacral chakra, and therefore like deep into my body.
Well, you may not want to hear this because this is not the episode. But as you talk about needing to produce a little movement to prevent the stagnant energy, I was just reflecting literally just within the last couple of days that it was your elderflower essence or maybe it was elderflower and mimosa. Not long after I started taking that one, I bought a bike and I started to exercise that way. And then later in the fall, I noticed, it was raining a lot and I couldn't ride the bike. And I started taking that elderflower and mimosa one again. And then I got back into the gym and I started doing more Pilates and found it all to be very fun, like that elderflower message or the mimosa. So I've been giving props to that one for the movement. But what I can give Marigold props to is like for the idea that, maybe I need to move some of that stagnant energy. Do you know what I mean?
I do. I totally agree with you on the movement. That is right. Really, that mimosa call to let your spine kind of move and loosen up is really powerful for that. So I'm sitting here being like, okay, I got to pull in that essence too, because that's something that I feel like this time around working with Marigold, like coming back to it and re-examining how I'm interacting with that wisdom. I think I spoke about this a few episodes ago, but like it's definitely apparent to me that now it is time to move. I definitely feel like in my sacral chakra, it's like, okay, this is not acceptable right now. This level of stagnant energy, this lack of tone or strength in the actual physical body around this area, like it's all time. And for me, that's a big departure from my usual thought. So it's been really interesting to see how different that message is landing. And obviously for me, I tend to process like energy first, physical next. So it's like right on time for that.
Mm-hmm.
I connected the embodiment aspect, subconsciously, it feels like, with your work that I was doing when I was originally kind of bringing in that message from Marigold. And it's so interesting to me that it's taken this long for it to be like, okay, and now act. Make the change.
Well, I do think it's really powerful the way that we breathe and the way that we breathe into the body. And we're just going to take the notion of like, oh, now's the time, and not question it. Just do it, because now is the time. And I will tell you some like Pilates videos that I'm doing. They're about 10 minutes long, and they're super fun, and they're on YouTube, and they're totally free, and they're working. So to bring tone, and it's so easy to get 10 minutes in your schedule, like so easy.
Isn't it funny how when it's just information just hits so differently when you're ready for it? Because I'm like, oh, I'll go look up those Pilates videos. And that's just not who I've ever been as a person. I'm always like, oh, okay, have fun with that. Like, good for you.
I used to be a workout maniac, and I lost it like about, I don't know, 13, 14 years ago. But I have found it so much fun to build strength and feel my body and feel my posture, like standing up stronger naturally, like the openness across the chest and the shoulder blades like come down the back. And it's just literally been 10, 15, sometimes like, oh, I've got time today, I'll do a half an hour or whatever. But really and truly, it's just been really, really short increments that do make it fun.
Yeah. It's so interesting for me, like, to change how I think about movement. So for so long, I looked at movement as, oh, I need to do this to change my shape or to keep up with something or someone or whoever, as far as like norms and standards or expectations. And I just really rebelled against all of that. Like, I'm not, and for a lot of like, I'm not going to be good at sports and I'm going to quit trying. That's not who I am. Or I have this shape and that is my shape and I'm going to find a way to be proud of it. And now what's been really interesting is I have finally progressed in my like personal self-love practice, that I can look at movement as a gift to my body in terms of like, how can I help you do your job better? How can I help you be more comfortable? And like truly feel like it's a gift, not just saying the affirmations and being disconnected from it, but truly feel like that's a gift. And that, I think, is where, like, for me, I guess probably the reason that it's taken so long, because that's been such an intense practice for me. And I've had enough work to do with that. Just to be able to say, okay, I'm not coming to this as thinking I'm broken or, wanting to be something I'm not. And I can now see that my choices have not been very beneficial in helping my body do all the work that I am so glad that it does for me.
Absolutely.
I want to play a little bit. What plants and or other essences and energies have you been working with lately? Have you felt called to lately?
Mugwort has been up for me since last late summer or fall. And so it died back in the winter, and I had made some oil, and you and I had made some hydrosol. So I've been playing a lot with mugwort for opening the mind for in the daytime, being able to bring that connection in. My other favorite herb right now is skullcap for the nervous system. There's a, there's a lot going
Mm,
on, and I have required skullcap a lot, just to kind of just bring everything down, just be in the body. It's not scary to be here.
nice. So how are you working with skullcap in like what form?
I tea usually, but I also have played with soaking that in jojoba oil, and it smells really nice mixed in with some lavender and some um, mugwort. I think that's the blend that I'm using most lately.
Mm, that does sound nice.
Yeah.
Now, have those been coming to you in your meditations too, like in your group work?
Yeah. So on Wednesday night, I do a class that's a bigger group. It's a longer length of time. We drink tea and we use medicines. And so I've been having this like signature tea a lot, which is skullcap, mugwort, motherwort, chamomile, lavender. So I first just made that into an oil as well because I kind of think, hey, let's get the herbs in all the ways we can. Like, there's different avenues do different things. So, and then just playing with them at home because I don't really like store-bought lotions and things. So, I just started making my own because I knew exactly what was in them.
Yeah.
So I've been using them like after shower and before bed and in class. Um, and I love them.
Yeah. There's something intangibly different about products that are mindfully crafted from like you grew that plant and the energy that you used when you were growing it and when you were harvesting and when you were infusing that oil, it's all there.
Yeah. There's just nothing like it. It's kind of like, oh, I'm having a bad day. Well, what kind of medicine can I make? Like, I know it won't be ready for a month, but like, what kind of medicine can I make? Or what kind of medicine do I have in my cabinet that I can strain and use just for fun? Just to, connect with my body a little bit more, just to connect with my heart a little bit more or my soul. And blends are amazing that way.
That's true. That's true. How you use it, what you do, that all adds in. It's really fun to be able to have access to the actual plant and then, the actual ingredients and to be able to make that. And I realize that we share that enjoyment and that fun. And I also have listeners who are like, that's the worst. Like, I'm not, I don't want to mess with it. I want you to show me what to do with how, the already made thing. And I think that there is a lot of merit in that too. I mean, we both have products that we get from other people, right? I'm
Absolutely.
thinking of Pohala specifically, where I love the energy of that particular medicine so much. And it has a, a lot to do with the plants that are in it, but I would venture to say way more to do with the person who's making it and the energy that's put into it in making it, and then discussing and helping us kind of access the medicine there.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's space, right? Like there's space for I'm going to make these things, I'm going to enjoy what somebody else made, and those experiences can both be so powerful.
I can't tell you how long I used other people's products before I ever thought of trying to make my own. And I know that I had benefit from all of those products that I'd used before. And yes, I also do give a lot of credence to the people and what they put into it, like energetically and heart wise. I feel like I'm pretty particular about that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I love your products. And there are things, like as far as like me making my own things, but there are things like I don't know that I could make a marigold essence as good as you do. Like whatever you put in that is, it's a little special. I took specifically, I clipped some of my own marigold and made an essence, and like I used it twice and I'm like, yeah, that's just not really worth using. So whatever it is that you put into that, like whether it was the land it was grown on or the energy of you, but I always think that you carry a particular wisdom that's very subtle. And oftentimes like the subtle medicine gets in a little easier. So yeah, your marigold essence far and wide way better than my own.
Well, I did not expect to hear that, but thank you. No, I find that, where it's like if I approach some plant like, oh, I've been using this medicine or I've been hearing about this, let me do this myself. From that cerebral perspective, I feel like I'm unable to capture the essence properly, and then and I think you've had this too with lavender, but like when you feel that call in your heart, oh no, it's time for you to go work with that plant right now. It is pulling you to it. Then that essence is so strong.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's really funny to talk with, like gardeners or my fellow plant people about how I go about making medicines or planning to make medicines, because I don't plan it, and I'm always just like, if I feel that call, if I feel a plant truly calling out to me and saying, okay, hey, I got a message. I got something to share. It's like, I can't help myself. I can't not interact with the plant. And it's been beautiful to be supported in listening to that call and understanding like, hey, no, I'm not crazy. I do actually feel like as I walk past that marigold, I'm being summoned, like, come over here, listen.
I'm so grateful that you do it as well. And I knew I was going to know someone that was going to bring me plant messages. And I had no idea it was you until the day you were like, hey, I'm playing with something new and fun. You want to play? So I'm just super excited because I know I needed that in my life.
Well, thank you for that. That's a high compliment. And I feel like I set up this like brag about me time, and I'm not sorry for it. I love it. Thank you so much.
I'm not sorry.
I'm not. I needed to hear it. It's really helping me out. But no, I just think it's interesting because I sit and I share these messages, and in my head I'm dealing with like, who am I to have this conversation that may or may not differ wildly from the accepted knowledge, right? Like what we would find in a book or be able to look up in the archives on recorded plant wisdom.
I don't know that I ever heard about the fiery divine feminine. And if I had, it never struck me the same until you said it. So that's who you are. But now I'm going to have to go look that up and see if Marigold is like lauded as that.
And you'll have to tell me what you find, because that's what I'm saying. Like, I refuse to check the wisdom in terms of what comes in directly to me versus, again, like what you would find in a book. And I think it's because I have this underlying imposter syndrome. Like, who am I to be getting these messages? But I also don't want to influence them or change them to fit into what's already kind of accepted knowledge. And it's really important to me in terms of not to say that I'm right and something else is wrong, but to add a bigger kind of personality picture to these plants that we work with. Like, all these things can be true together at the same time. And yeah, I mean, I've talked about it many times on this podcast, this idea of holding two truths at once. And I want everyone else to know that that is something that you and I work on very specifically and have been for a long time.
Both and. Absolutely. Yes.
Yes.
We can hold more than one frequency in our body. We can grieve an old life and create a new one all at the same time. And therefore, you can also have two other opposing things at the same time.
Yeah. It's a funny thing because I'm constantly setting out to invite anyone who will listen to trust their intuition. And that's really hard. And it's like the original making sure to do the trusting and then to not go back on it as you continue, down your path. And as you start to trust and you get more and more interaction with your intuition, having even greater opportunity to say, like, what is going on here? Or am I really having this interaction? And I'm very thankful to be in community with you and with others who that's the constant message, is just trust it, tap into it, get still enough to listen, and then to be able to do something with that.
Well, that's the hardest thing. But once you do it once, you can do it again, and you can do it again, and you can do it again. And it gets easier and easier and easier every time.
Yeah. I think truly that is why I have resonated so strongly with Marigold, and why I am devoting so much time to going back through all of these messages and this wisdom, because that power to trust yourself, to receive wisdom, really, for me, sits in the sacral. And Marigold brought that out and just like set that really truly on fire for me, like that was when it was no longer a question of how much am I hiding or how small am I making myself to be able to fit in. It was like, oh, no. We can't do that anymore.
No, and I do think that is the space that we move from. Like, I mean, I know we're using our physical, like leg muscles and glutes and whatnot, but it does feel to me like my greatest actions that I take are moving from that center. And I think that's what the Marigold did for me with the message of the fiery divine. Because it kind of just brought a little momentum down to that space. So I can see why you refer to that as like, oh, it made me realize I need to move. So maybe that is where the realization came from. But then it was the other essence that brought the impetus to actually do it.
It's a tricky thing both when we start to try to break things down in order to understand them.
There you go. Thank you very much.
Like I realize I'm spending a lot of time on each individual chakra, and you are not an individual chakra, and there will be no point in your life where you will be, but to break it down and to really feel into those spaces for me is very helpful. And I do realize it can also be a place to get stuck. Like it has to come back into the whole and back into the big picture. And it's just like that with the different essences and preparations, where it's like, okay, I felt something change when I started using this. And there's this whole protocol happening, or this whole process I'm working through as I bring in different essences and energies. And, at the end of the day, I don't really care how it works as long as it does. But I also find it interesting that it's much easier for it to work if I can drill down on the individual energies and essences that are coming in to become truly aware, so that when they're in that protocol, or when I'm, in my whole body, I can really pick up on those subtleties, because I've had that deep dive on the individual.
Yes. I agree with that.
Well, as always, I am thankful for your conversation. Thank you for coming and joining me today. Where can our listeners find you and learn more about what you do, and maybe tap in to what you've got going on?
My website is sheribagwell.com, and you spell Sheri, Sheri. I am on Facebook as Sheri Bagwell, and I am on Instagram as Sheri Bagwell, but there is an underscore between Sheri and Bagwell. Over the next couple of weeks, still having several Monday meditations and Wednesday evening meditations, and accepting new private clients come May. Thank you so much for having me. It's been fun.
Well, I've enjoyed it, and I will talk to you soon.
Okay.
All right. Bye.
Bye.
Thanks for joining us in our conversation today, dear listener. As I said before, I realized that this is the first interview style podcast we have had here on the Timely Drops of Wisdom. And I would love to hear your reflections. Do you want to hear more conversations? Do you prefer to just chat with me one-on-one during our time together? Reach out and let me know. I value your opinion. In the meantime, I hope your takeaway is to please trust your intuition. This is all a practice and experiment in learning to listen to your intuition, in learning to trust what you are hearing, what you are receiving, and to be able to use all of that to move forward in a way that serves your very highest good. So thank you for joining me. Thank you for listening. And thank you for sharing your feedback with me. Big love, my friend.